Hey guys, welcome back to another video here on Toned In Entertainment, where we love pop culture. Today, it's time for another comic book review. Now, as we get ready for the upcoming release of Netflix's new animated Masters of the Universe TV series, Dark Horse Comics has come out with a prequel comic to get us ready for that. But is this issue powerful enough to whet our appetites and to get us all excited? Well, let's get on my comic book review for Masters of the Universe Revelation issue number 1. Issue 1 opens up with Queen Marlena consoling her husband, King Randor, as he's been startled once again by a sound that he describes as fizzling, almost electric. However, it seems he has his jitters under control this time, as he didn't bring his blaster with him when he went to investigate the strange noise. Queen Marlena also tries to reassure him that if it was an intruder, that in addition to having the royal guard, they still have the most powerful man in the universe who can make sure that any evildoers will be dealt with. Plus, the number one reason to not be up in arms is that they believe that Skeletor is no longer alive. And while there is a sense of relief that they believe that Skeletor is no longer a threat, the king still knows that there are still many dangers, if not more dangerous threats out there. And it's not going to take very long till we get a glimpse as to what one of those threats could be. Prince Adama and Cringer will be woken and will quickly make their transformation into He-Man and Battle Cat. But when they arrive, the king has already fallen victim, and nothing that Teela and the royal guard seem to do have no effect. Now that's when He-Man decides it's time to give this critter a taste of his sword. But before he even gets an opportunity to swing, this monster just disappears. Now, seeking answers as to what has happened, He-Man, Battle Cat, Teela, and Orko take the incapacitated king to Castle Grayskull. The sorceress will explain that this creature is no myth as they believe, but is the Orlax, and the reason why it hightailed it so fast because it has encountered the blade before and it knows its strength. While He-Man questions how this is possible because he's never encountered the Orlax, the sorceress explains that he is not the first to wield the sword and that the Orlax is older than the power itself. Battle Cat brings up the point, what about the king and the venom that appears to be running through his veins? The sorceress explains that if there is a poison running through his veins, it moves like the Orlax itself, with a magic hidden from her sight. Now, the sorceress will hand out the jobs to Teela, Battle Cat, and Orko, and as far as He-Man goes, well, she's going to take him to the Cosmic Corridor. While He-Man questions why the sorceress wants to send him on a road trip through the universe, she explains that the Cosmic Corridor isn't just a way to travel through space, but also through time. That if He-Man could go to the point in time where the Orlax was confronted by the sword, that might give her the clue she needs to come up with a cure for the king. The sorceress lets it be known that not only is this job important for He-Man, but his mission must be completed as fast as possible because it will take all her strength just to get him there and back. Now, over this 2-page spread, we're going to glimpse that even over generations, the training regime between father and son has pretty much remained the same. But for the King of Grayskull and the Little Greys, they're about to get their skills put to the test as the Snake Man are ready to make their presence known. And while the King's son, Diari, might have been in the head of his class when it came to wielding a sword, patience was not his virtue, because as he makes a charge, the youngster will be slain at the tentacle of the Orlax. Now, earlier in this issue, He-Man brought up that he thinks the king should know his secret identity. But here's a prime example why it's best that it does remain a secret. As King Grayskull asks, why would Hiss attack an innocent boy? In which he's met with the response that if he wanted to keep them safe, he should have kept their identity a secret, and that made them fair game. From here, King Grayskull will seek out the advice of the elders, where he's informed that General Hiss's new weapon is a creature existing in 2 different dimensions, and that in order to stop this beast, a wound would be needed to be inflicted simultaneously upon the beast in both dimensions. But there's just one major problem. There's no such weapon that does exist. That is, unless the king is willing to walk the line between lightness and darkness, in which we see he has made a deal with the devil himself, Scareglow. From here, the king will return, and with the combination of his strength and his magical allies, he now holds the power that will be great enough to slay the beast and save his son. Now, the king's wife does ask him at what cost. What was the deal that he made in order to secure the Dark Orb? But the king will just dance around this question as he tells his wife simply he now has a chance to rescue their son. Now the king is going to find out quickly if his deal will pay off, as King Hiss leads an army of snake men and the Orlacs, who now have both their sons in its custody. Now, unlike the first time when the king used his sword and it had no effect, with him now having the power, he makes quick work of the Orlacs, disintegrating the beast, only leaving a chopped off tentacle behind. As the king and queen go to check on their son Dier, they notice that there is no poison detected, that the creature must have had some type of psychic connection. Now the Orlac shows that it was down but not out and has returned to finish the job, but before it can do so, He-Man has jumped in to save the day. And with that, He-Man has learned all he needs and is ready to return back home, but not before reassuring King Grayskull that his son's sacrifice will not only save many lives, but his name will live on forever. As He-Man returns back to his time with the Orlacs' tentacle, he explains to his friends that there is no venom in the king, at least not of a physical one, and that he brought back a limb in hopes that the sorcerers could use it to find a cure for King Randor. Now, as some time passes, our heroes go to check in with the sorceress, and that's when they get quite the shock that just with the tail, it has already been able to regenerate itself into a full Orlax. Now, in addition to finding a cure, He-Man hopes that the sorceress can figure out what brought this creature to their dimension in the first place. But an observation made by Man-at-Arms is, why does this creature seem to be scared of them and not attacking him? That perhaps it can't control itself. Or as He-Man puts it, perhaps it knows it's being controlled by someone else. Now, if you guessed that someone else would be Skeletor, well, you'd be right. Now, Skeletor is pretty furious that Evil-Lyn can't get it back, and that while finishing off He-Man will have to be put on hold, translating the Orlacs' warning, the whole reason it came to Eternia a half a millennium ago is the priority. Now, on a scale of 1 to 10, I'm going to give issue number 1 of Masters of the Universe Revelation a 7.5 out of 10. Now, overall, I thought this was a good issue, and while I don't recommend that everyone has to go out and purchase this issue, if you're getting ready for the new series this week, this is a fun and entertaining read to get us ready for the show. Alright guys, well that's going to wrap up my comic book review for Masters of the Universe Revelation issue number 1. Now if you read this issue, what are your thoughts? Comment down below. And are you guys excited for the new Netflix TV series? I know I definitely am. Honestly, I don't care about any of the drama that's been going on around this series. I'm just really excited to see what the story is all about. I mean, the 2 trailers that I've seen have been completely awesome, and I'm gonna go into watching that series as if none of the drama has gone on, and I'm gonna take it in as just one fun cartoon series. Come on, it's 2021 and we're getting Masters of the Universe back, and I'm definitely excited to see what's in store. Now, if you guys also like He-Man and the Masters of the Universe, I did a full comic book review for He-Man and the Masters of the Multiverse, where I covered all 6 issues, and the link to that series is down below. Alright guys, if you like comic book reviews like this and all things pop culture, make sure you stay tuned in here to Toned In Entertainment for future videos.
Subscribe to the channel. Do it. Go now. Do it now.